What's going on, guys? B. Scott here with you, and on today's show, we got your tight end sit starts heading in to week number 11. Week number 10's over. We're over halfway through the season. The season's flying by. We're getting closer and closer to that fantasy championship, and it's week 11. We got to talk about the tight end position. We got some starts, sits, and streams. So keep it locked and loaded right here at the first four downs. Guys, and welcome back. As I mentioned in the preview, we're going through your tight end sit starts heading in to week number 11. How I like to do it is roll through the tight ends obvious starts really quickly, rattle them off, then talk about some stream options this week and some plus matchups, and then some sits, some guys that are just I'm on the fence with and I just think they could dud this week. So before we get to today's content, don't forget, like the video, subscribe, share, thumb bell, all that good stuff, and then comment. There's a tight end I don't mention because I'm not going to mention every single one. Actually, I'll mention a lot today, but not every single one. Drop in the comment section. I'll be glad to give you my opinions on whether you should start him, sit him, start this tight end over that tight end, and I'll give you my opinions on any of your start sit questions. So let's start at the top. Let's start with your must-start tight ends, the guys that you're going to be starting anyway. First off, Travis Kelce, playing the Dallas Cowboys, bounce-back week, had a great week against Las Vegas Raiders. Playing the Dallas Cowboys, smash spot, shootout potential. Mark Andrews, been great on the fantasy football season overall, number 2 tight end in the league. And now he's at the Chicago Bears. Not a great matchup. I don't love it, but it's Mark Andrews. He's been great, so you're starting him. Darren Waller, he's playing the Cincinnati Bengals. He's been pretty consistent. We haven't seen the Waller that we hoped for when we drafted him as the number 2 tight end in the second, third round, but he's still been very consistent. You're starting him no matter what. Hunter Henry, at this point, you got to start him. The man's on fire catching touchdowns. He's got 6 touchdowns in his last 7 games, 6 of 7 games with the touchdown, and he's got the Atlanta Falcons, just a great secondary. The New England Patriots are playing very well. Hunter Henry, must-start tight end. George Kittle, on the comeback tour, back-to-back weeks with a touchdown, playing very well. He gets the Jacksonville Jaguars. Good smash spot here. TJ Hockenson at the Cleveland Browns. Now look, yes, he dudded out. 0 catches on 1 target last week, but I still like Hockenson as a forward play going forward. The 3 games before the bye week, coming out of a bye, had the one target, right? The 3 games before that, 31 targets in the 3 games before. That's averaging over 10 targets a game. If you have a tight end that's averaging 10 targets a game, there's no way you can sit him. So I like him this week against Cleveland Browns. I get it. Jared Goff's played very poorly. The Detroit Lions offense really looks stagnant, but if you got Hockenson drafted him that high, I'd probably still be rolling him here. Just kind of a down game. I think he bounces back. Kyle Pitts playing the New England Patriots. What do New England Patriots do best? Take away your best option. That's Kyle Pitts. And Cordero Patterson looking to miss time, so they're going to even lean even more heavily on Kyle Pitts. But you got to be starting him. I mean, just the volume alone that he's seen, he's averaging 8 targets over his last 6 games, Kyle Pitts is. And like I said, it is a tough matchup. New England, 3rd fewest fantasy points to the tight end position, but it's Kyle Pitts. Even if he catches 3-4 balls, get you 50, 60 yards, you'll be happy with that. You'll live with it. So you're starting him. Mike Gesicki at the New York Jets. He still saw 7 targets, albeit didn't catch any of them. So I like Gesicki as a bounce back here. 7+ targets in 5 of his last 6 games. And the New York Jets defense is horrendous. So start Mike Gesicki. I still feel comfortable and confident starting him. Dawson Knox versus the Indianapolis Colts. Good spot here. Indianapolis, 6th most fantasy points to the tight end position. Knox, yes, 1 catch, 17 yards, I want to say. But it was his first game action back after breaking his hand, missed a few games plus the bye. Little rust here. And I think the Indianapolis Colts, they're going to be a little more competitive in this game than the New York Jets were. So I think Dawson Knox could see a decent amount of volume. And he's played very well through the season. We know this, so you got to be starting Dawson Knox this week. I would be. Pat Freiermuth at the Los Angeles Chargers. Smash spot here. Los Angeles Chargers, 5th most fantasy points to the tight end position. And Freiermuth, he's averaged 7 targets over his last 4 games since Juju Smith-Schuster obviously went out. That's good for a tight end, and he's playing very well. He did cost them with a fumble, in overtime, and that hurts the Pittsburgh Steelers. But for fantasy, Pat Freiermuth, for me, is a must-start this week. Another guy, Dalton Schultz at the Kansas City Chiefs. Good spot here. 7th most fantasy points to the tight end position. The Kansas City Chiefs have given up the 5th most yards to the tight ends, and I get it. Dalton Schultz, you see Michael Gallup come back. I want to say Gallup had 5, 6 targets, and you see Dalton Schultz, just 2 targets, 1 catch, 14 yards. Now, he didn't get it going early. The Dallas Cowboys really put it on the Atlanta Falcons and cruised in the second half. I still like Dalton Schultz. I think he plays a ton of snaps. He's always on the field. He's always a viable option, and I think it's a good spot here in a shootout potential game. Now, Dalton Schultz, yes, He didn't necessarily do great last week. Like I mentioned, 2 targets, 1 catch, 14 yards, I want to say. But I'd still be firing him here just with the shootout potential to have a big day. And then Dan Arnold, my last must-start tight end. At this point, Dan Arnold is clearing nearly 60 yards per game on average. He's seeing a ton of targets. It's not necessarily a great matchup. San Francisco is pretty tough to the tight end position, but San Francisco 49ers have given up a touchdown in 3 of their last 4 games to a tight end. Dan Arnold's still looking to find the end zone with the Jacksonville Jaguars, so I like him as a start here. It is a little bit tougher of a spot, but even if they fall behind, there could be some garbage time. So Dan Arnold, I still like him as a start. So let's talk about a few guys that I like to sit this week. Guys that I just think in tough matchups or just might be hurting based on the team aspects. So Dallas Goedert versus the New Orleans Saints. New Orleans giving up the 4th fewest fantasy points to the tight end position, just 1 touchdown to the tight end on the season. Goddard's in the concussion protocol. Philly's found a run game. You know, you come into the season with Miles Sanders hoping they would give him the ball. They don't. All they do is throw the ball. Jalen Hurts show. Then Miles Sanders gets hurt, and what do? Oh, well, now we'll lean on the run game. But it's working. They're playing very well, especially over the last few weeks. And I just don't like Goddard's outlook. With Zach Ertz being out, we haven't seen the huge target production. Now, yes, you look at the target share, and yes, it might say 30%, something like that. But you can't always judge the target share considering Jalen Hurts is not throwing the ball that much, especially over the last few weeks. So Dallas Goedert for me, I would potentially be sitting him here. He's in the protocol. If he doesn't practice that much this week as well, it's just a tough spot for me to roll him out there against this Saints tough secondary. So Dallas Goedert, I would be sitting him, potentially streaming some guys over him this week. Another guy I don't really love, Zach Ertz, playing the Seattle Seahawks. And really, you've seen it, Colt McCoy's under center. And we don't know if Kyler Murray's going to be ready to play. And how effective is he going to be, even if he is ready, knowing that he uses his legs. So I don't love Zach Ertz. Just 5 targets on average over the last 3 games for Zach Ertz. And I think those pass catchers are going to get healthy eventually. DeAndre Hopkins, and hopefully Kyler will be back. But I don't love the matchup either. The Seattle Seahawks have not allowed a touchdown to a tight end since week 5. And Zach Ertz has really struggled over the last 3 weeks, especially with Colt McCoy under center. So I don't like Zach Ertz. He's a sit for me this week. Another guy I'd be sitting, Jared Cook. At this point, he's potentially droppable. He just hasn't been playing very well. On top of that, they like to rotate the tight ends. They got Parham. They got another guy. I mean, they just rotate the tight ends too much, and he doesn't see enough volume for me to love it. And he's playing the Pittsburgh Steelers. Not a great matchup. Pittsburgh has allowed just 2 touchdowns to the tight end position. And Jared Cook, over his last 3 games, just 7 total catches for 83 scoreless yards. So I don't love Jared Cook, especially this week, so he's a sit for me. So lastly, we got some stream options, some tight ends that I like this week. Some good ones, to be honest. And we'll start with Tyler Conklin. He's been good over the last 3 or 4 weeks. 10-plus PPR points in 3 of his last 4 games. Caught 2 touchdowns last week. And he's got the Green Bay Packers. The secondary is pretty strong. And Minnesota could find themselves down in this game potentially. So there could be some huge dump-off passes to Tyler Conklin this week. I think he could see probably another 5 to 7 targets. That's pretty much what he's been averaging. And he's been playing pretty well over his last 4 games. So I'd be starting him this week, considering they might struggle to run the football. They might struggle to pass the football in that Green Bay secondary. So I like Tyler Conklin as a good option. He's been pretty good. So Evan Ingram, a dart throw for me at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Back-to-back games with a touchdown before the bye week. Not hugely targeted, but still the pass catchers are struggling to get healthy. And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have been susceptible to the tight end position a little bit. And Evan Ingram, if he's catching touchdowns, you got to get it while it's hot. I mean, the guy normally doesn't. So Evan Ingram, a real dart throw. If you're really looking for that deep option, he's an option this week. A guy I love, CJ Uzomah at the Las Vegas Raiders. Las Vegas Raiders give up the 2nd most fantasy points to the tight end position. Cincinnati looking to get back on track. They lost 2 straight before the bye and did it in poor fashion. And Kelsey, you've seen what he did to the Las Vegas Raiders just last week. I want to say over 100 yards receiving. So I like CJ Uzomah as a good stream option this week in a plus matchup. And then a dart throw, and one last stream for me is Cole Kmet. Coming off a big day before his bye, 8 targets, 6 catches for 87 yards. He hits the Baltimore Ravens. Baltimore giving up 3rd most fantasy points to the tight end position. Cole Kmet has seen 6+ targets in his last 3 games, and Justin Fields has just started to pick it up. So, coming into the season, there was high expectations for Cole Kmet, knowing that he was a 2nd, 3rd-year tight end. This should be, going forward, a good option as long as Justin Fields continues to play well. And on top of that, we know the Bears' defense has struggled, especially over the last few weeks with injuries and staying healthy. So, I like Cole Kmet as a good stream option this week in a plus matchup against the Baltimore Ravens. So that's it. That's my tight end sit starts streams heading in to week number 11. So if you have any questions or comments, drop in the comment section. I'll be glad to give you my advice. And while you're there, don't forget to like the video, subscribe, share, thumb bell for all your fantasy football information every single week. I got all your sit starts. I answer every single question. Anything you'd like, drop in the comment section. I'll be glad to give you my advice. So for the first 4 downs, it's been B. Scott, and I'm out.